And welcome back to the channel of nonsense. Now, I don't know about you, but I always think Audi is at its very best, the top of its game, when it is making low, sleek saloon and estate cars. And it's with great pleasure that I introduced the Audi e-tron GT, and it's not an electric SUV, it's an electric GT car. I can hear the cheers on YouTube already. I'm going to take you for a full walk around, do a review, take it for a drive, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get cracking, and hopefully it's as good as its sister car, the Porsche Taycan. This is it then, the long-awaited e-tron GT, and it's based on the same platform and electrical gubbins as the Porsche Taycan, which, as we all know, was my favourite car of 2020, so hopefully this is good. This e-tron GT comes in two forms. This is a regular 530 horsepower, 350 kilowatt model, and there's an RS with 646 horsepower. Like the Porsche, both of those horsepower numbers are when you've got launch control enabled. Realistically, this is more like 470 horsepower. Now, this basic entry-level one is £81,200 here in the UK, but this is a top spec Vorsprung edition, or quite close to it. It's actually quite an early car. It's not quite UK spec, but this one is £107,000. But you get a lot of kit for that. Let's talk about the looks for a second. You can't miss the grey closed-in grille. You can pay £350 to have that. The same colour as the car's body, and there are some blues and quite nice colours you can get this. Now, because there's a Vorsprung one, you get the matrix LED lights. The normal one just gets normal LED lights, and these have got lasers in them as well. Before I get too carried away, I should probably show you what's under the front, because lots of people always ask that. So you open this, there's a button down there. It's playing merry hell with my exposure, this. And you've got an 85 litre space there, which is probably best suited for charging cables. They're in the boot at the moment, and the bag takes up quite a bit of room, so I'd just stick them in there and forget about it. Clunk. The e-tron GT is quite a long car. It's a smidgen under 5 meters, and it weighs 2.3 tons, which from memory is about 100 kilos heavier than the Porsche version. You've got a charging outlet on each side. So this is just your regular one. If you want the fast one, you need to go around to the left-hand side where you've got your CCS connector. There we go. So yeah, when you want to do fast charging, charge it from there. Now, in terms of charging, this has got the 800 volt architecture that the Porsche's got, so you can stick it on a 270 kilowatt charger, supposedly, which will charge the 85 kilowatt hour battery really quickly. However, I've used a 350 kilowatt charger with this car, and it only gives me 150 kilowatt max, and I've done that twice on 2 different chargers, and all I get is 155 I've seen, which is still pretty damn fast. It gave me about, well, 60 miles in 15 minutes, something like that. A little bit more, actually. Now, the total range in this car, according to the people in Europe, well, the EU, is 280 miles on a charge. This gets more like 260 on a full charge. This car, obviously, it's probably not been very well looked after by journalists. This car rides on optional 21-inch wheels, which are standard on the RS. I don't think you can actually get these wheels in the UK on this non-RS one. It's an early car, as I said. They're 1,700 quid. It rides on air suspension, this one. As standard, it's on steel springs. You have to go for the £8,200 Comfort and Sound Pack, which gives you things like cooled seats, but also gives you full air suspension, which is well worth having. But 8,200 quid is quite a lot, isn't it? This one also has a locking rear diff for hooning. That's 1,500 quid. And again, you can only get it on the RS now. This one somehow has it. Ah! Piss off. I've got a wasp on my camera. No, fuck off. Oh dear. Sorry, I've just been attacked by a wasp. Let me regain my composure. So yeah, it looks quite a cool thing from the back with this huge light bar, and it's only when you get down low and come up the car from behind you realise how massive the rear tyres are. You've got this semi-fake diffuser type thing. Now, this does have a 2-speed transmission like the Taycan, but that's only really using first gear for hard launches, launch control, otherwise it just sticks it in second. The boot is not massive, it's 405 litres, and I've got lots of crap in it, sorry about that. But this bag here is the one with all the charging cables. As you can see, it's quite big. You might as well stick that in the front just to save some boot space. I think they put it in the back so idiot journalists can find it. Got 12-volt socket there and some little nets and cubbies down there. It's all right. You can flip the hatch down in the middle, but there aren't any buttons to do it from here. And just in case you're wondering, it was made in Ingolstadt. Now, despite being a 5-meter long car, like the Taycan, it isn't massive in the back, but you do get like heated rear seats and there's controls for everything down there. I actually found it a little bit of a struggle to fit my toddler's seat in this because the angle of the seat back kind of conflicted with the angle of her seat. So I had to put the seat on her base before putting the base in the car, but we got there and there's little plastic covers for Isofix there, top tether, all that kind of stuff. But can you fit an adult in there? Yes, you can. I fit actually really quite nicely in here. Got the optional panoramic sunroof, and that actually increases headroom, which is rare. Same as in the Taycan, really. And that is my legroom. I've got loads. It's a hard plastic seat back, but I fit and it's fine. It's a very noisy Tiguan. All I would say is that when you're in here with the door shut, it can feel a little bit claustrophobic because the roof rail is a chunky mofo and it is lower than my gut after a Christmas meal to the floor. Does that make sense? But anyway, yeah, and you hit your head on it when you get out if you aren't careful. So you kind of have to fold yourself out of the car. But in terms of general ambience, which I'll get onto in a minute, well, now, I actually prefer this to the Porsche Taycan. It's just a bit less dreary in here and a little bit more conventional, things like the fans that you can move with your hands. Try that one, Porsche, rather than having to use menus. And it's all quite simple and straightforward. You get a flat bottom steering wheel with heated steering wheel controls and everything else. You've got paddles for adjusting the regenerative braking, I can never say that, through 3 levels. You get a digital dashboard, obviously. You get a single screen infotainment system, which is really easy to use. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, but because they've not done the dual screen thing, you've got physical climate control buttons, which makes this the best car in the world. And it's actually way simpler to use than the system in the Porsche. You've got a red start stop button there, a little gear selector, and that's kind of it. You've got a little volume control there, cup holders, and in here, I don't know if you can see in there, but you can slot your phone into this side bit there, and that's a wireless charger. You've also got USB-Cs in there and things like that. This has got lots of optional carbon fiber stuff, so this whole dashboard is covered in a really quite nice carbon fiber, and you've got a frameless rear view mirror. It's really nice, to be honest. The door handle is a little bit weird because they're on micro switches, so you move them, but actually really it's a micro switch that's opening the door. And what's annoyed me, the parking sensors. It's got the most paranoid parking sensors in the world, and it detects curbs, which is useful when you don't want to curb your massive 21s on, well, curbs. But they are super paranoid, and I was parallel parking earlier and it was slamming the automatic emergency braking system on to avoid a curb that I had seen. So it does think you're an idiot when you're reversing this, no comment on that. But yeah, that did annoy me a little bit. Right, that's enough front seat chat from the back seats. Let's get back in the front seats and go frontwards and do some driving. Righty-ho, that's all the boring stuff out the way. Let's go for a drive in the Audi e-tron GT. Foot on the brake, prod the red rimmed start button, and then move the rectangle of direction into the D position, and then it creeps. Take your foot off the brake and it starts moving, and then you just go. Now, 0 to 62 in this one, the normal one, is 4.1 seconds. If you get the RS one, it's 3.3. Now, as I said, it's got 476 horsepower, but it's more like 530, which are allowed for 2.5 seconds when you've got launch control activated. And torque is 630 Newton meters, 10 more with launch control activated. So those are the numbers, those are the boring bits, but they really only tell part of the story with this car. Because I'm on air suspension, I'm in comfort mode and it's comfortable. This really does ride better than most 2.3 ton cars that aren't electric, to be honest. And it's serene. I've done big miles in this. I've done about 400 miles in the past week, taking it back to Essex to see some friends with 2 screaming kids in the back, and it was almost like that S8 that I reviewed. It was very, very serene. and it's just very easy to drive and live with. It doesn't really feel too big and bulky. When you first get in one, you'll think it's wide, but actually after a while you quickly get used to it, and then everything's all right. But yeah, on a motorway I will get some dual carriageway, but that's a bit boring. You're just going to drive at me, good. I said it doesn't feel wide, it does when there's a bell end in a Skoda Superb driving at your face. But yeah, it is a very relaxing car to do big miles in. Obviously you can do big miles in this because it's got super fast charging. So you could drive this pretty much to empty and then get 80% of your battery back in something like 25 minutes if you find a fast charger, maybe even less. Now, I've talked about the ambiance a bit, but there are certain things I didn't mention which do feel nice. The paddles are cold metal. I think I'm going to instigate a rule right here, right now, that if your car costs more than £50,000, it needs to have metal paddles. No ifs, no buts. This is the campaign for metal paddles, starting here. Visibility out, let's talk about that. Mirrors are fine, they're reasonably squat, I guess, for improved aerodynamics, always important in an EV. The view out the back is a little bit titchy. It's not dreadful, but it is a bit small and it's kind of cut by that roofline swooping down, so bear that in mind. But otherwise, over the shoulders, everything is hunky-dory. Now, I should probably get a bit philosophical and say, oh, how different does this feel to the Porsche Taycan? I think this is just a more relaxed thing. And the Porsche Taycan does do comfortable very well, but there's something about the ambiance and the way this steers and the general area feeling cabin that make it feel like a much better GT car. It just puts me in a slightly better mood. The Taycan feels quite intense with its screens and air vents that you can't move. Everything feels a little bit alien, a little bit weird. This just feels like a normal Audi, and that is a good thing. In terms of the way it goes down the road, to use a really horrible phrase, don't know where I've got that from, 1990s auto car, it is mostly really comfortable. You do get a bit of road noise in the cabin from those massive tyres, and over some smaller bumps you do feel them, even in comfort mode. It's not completely steamrollering the floor like your mum at a cake buffet. It is just very okay. It's pretty good. I reckon steel springs wouldn't feel quite as nice, so I would go for the air still. And the benefit is that the air suspension can get quite stiff when you stick it in dynamic mode, which we will now. Cut to my twisty road. Now it's at this point in the drive that I normally talk about sound and things like that, and this car has an optional sound pack, the e-tron Sports Sound thing. It's £500. Basically, it pipes a sound to the outside of the car that is meatier than the standard one. It does emit a sound by default, as European safety regulations dictate. However, this sticks an amp in the boot, which pipes out a throatier sound which you can customize through the menus, which is effectively a combination of 32 individual synthesized sounds mixed together, probably by some famous conductor. Oh no, that was BMW, wasn't it? Hans Zimmer. Anyway, it makes, to me, just sounds like a generic electric car noise. It just sort of whirs, and you get sound piped inside as well, but it's kind of just generic electric car sound. It's nothing special, and it gets a bit louder in dynamic mode. It also gets louder in dynamic mode outside. I'll stick a clip in, but you can't really hear it. Yes, I'm not sure if that's worth £500, but anyway, about to get onto Twisty Road. I'll try and do a bit of cheeky launch control to see all my stuff fly about the car, because that's what YouTube wants, apparently. One thing that is worth pointing out, actually, is the driver assist. It's obviously got lane keeping assist and every other kind of assist you can think of. The lane keeping assist does stay turned off between ignition cycles, so you're not having to turn it off every time you get in the car. Just going to put my phone in my pocket, because that's annoying me. The brakes on this aren't carbon ceramic, but they're pretty damn good. Right, I'm in dynamic mode. Foot on the brake. I don't know if that's launch control, because the stability control doesn't have a half off, it only has fully off. Anyway, let's go. Oh yeah, that's fast. That's 60, and at 60 you feel it thunk into second gear if you're doing a hard launch. That is brutal. 4.1 might sound okay, but it feels faster than that. And as usual, it's the mid-range punch that impresses. Now, I'm going down a bumpy B road. Well, it's not that bumpy, but it is twisty. And yeah, I've got pretty decent confidence in the brakes, the steering and everything else to go quickly. Now it's not quite as in tune with itself as the Porsche Taycan. The steering in that and the kind of throttle and the brake feel are all better than in this Audi, but it's still pretty good, and you will cover ground much more quickly than in pretty much any other Audi, I would have thought, even an RS6, probably even an R8. So yeah, it's certainly got that dual motor confidence, and you can feel it kind of doing torque vectoring type stuff to haul you around corners when you're properly on it. I can't film that because you are going faster than any speed limit in the land by the time you can feel that. But it's good. Boot it out of the corner, I can feel that diff doing stuff at the back. So yeah. It's got enough handling mojo for you to not get bored with it. The problem I find with EVs is that once you've done the acceleration-y thing a couple of times, you're like, oh, I spent 110 grand and I've done the greatest trick and I'm bored of it. The handling in this is good enough to entertain you. I mean, we're not talking about massive skids or anything, but it's just got an interesting kind of feel to it, like the Taycan. The bonnet is really long though, so when you're pulling up junctions, do feel a bit exposed. And I found that some of the chargers that I've used, the cables have only just reached from the charging unit to the flap at the front. I went to a BP Pulse one and I had to really fight to get the charging cable to stretch into the car. And obviously there's a curb in front of the charging unit. The front of this car is quite low, and I didn't want to scrape it. Anyway, we're talking about curb heights. That's nothing to do with this car. Let's go back to you, Tim, for an outro. Please don't pull out on me, Mr. Pickup Truck. So, in conclusion, is the e-tron GT as good as a Porsche Taycan? It's very, very close. It's kind of got a slightly different feel to it. It is more relaxing. It's more of a GT. It's a bit comfier, I think, and it's just a little bit, I don't know, a bit more chilled out. The Porsche inside is a bit dreary and miserable. I'd never thought I'd say this ever, but the Audi is slightly nicer inside. I just prefer it. It's easier to use, easier to live with. It's still really fun to drive, and it's still got some of that magic that the Porsche has. You can go around corners at ludicrous speeds and it kind of sorts itself out. It's ridiculously fast off the line. You do not need the RS version. Just like with the Porsche, the 4S is fine. You don't need the Turbo or the Turbo S. This will scare you enough, and frankly I don't think I'd ever need to go faster than this car. Ever, I don't think, on the road will let you. It's easy to live with, it's easy to charge, it's got fast charging, it's kind of ticking all the box. Now the price is about the same price as the Porsche. It starts at 82 grand, the 4S Taycan is 83 grand, so there's a grand in it, and then you're going to add options anyway. And the Porsche, you can easily add 20 grand of options. So the Vorsprung pack on this, which takes up to £107,000, is kind of there or thereabouts the same as well. So it's not a cheap car, and you do want to stick some of those options on, such as the air suspension, to make it a proper GT. But my God, what a thing. Well done, Audi. It's very good. Only annoyances are the parking sensors and the boot's a little bit small, but what you're going to do, hopefully they do an Avant version like the Sport Turismo, and that'll be even betterer. Anyway, enough waffle. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please click like if you've liked this video. Write something nice about me or the car in the comments, and subscribe, because there's lots more of this nonsense coming very soon when I'm not going to be attacked by wasps, hopefully. Wasps are so pointless, aren't they? It's like, what? Why are you? Goodbye.